Like, literally, this is just us doing our own thing, right? He's Ro.
She's Meg.
It's Meg and Ro in the morning. We did it. Good morning.
Buenos dias.
I don't have a different language to
Me
say.
either.
Second episode, and we're already failing on a bit that we came up with.
Yep.
Hi. I'm Megan, and I have a headache because it's very hot. And there's like dust from the Sahara Desert and smoke from the California fires.
It's lit.
And it's very humid. And I would kind of just really like to take a nap.
I'm Ro, and I frequently pop my knee because I had torn my meniscus in high school.
Oh.
It's a ligament in the knee. I love when people get hurt or have to go to the hospital. They're now an expert in whatever happened to them.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
And so let's see if we can.
Stop.
You can hear a thud.
He keeps doing ASMR. This is not an ASMR podcast.
But yeah, my knee is hurt. It's shot. So I.
Does it hurt right now?
No.
Okay.
Only in. My knee tells me when it's about to rain.
Oh, yeah. My hips do that.
My knee tells me when it's going to get cold.
We're young people. I was born in 99. He was born in 98.
98.
And we're very young, but we have old bodies. But that's not why we're here. Today's topic is going to be about Standpipe Coffee House. But before we get to that, we're recording this on the same day that we recorded the first episode. So normally we would ask, what did you do this weekend?
But we already knew what we did this weekend.
But we already know. So think about the weekend, the last week. Not this past weekend, the weekend before that.
I know something.
What did you do?
What? No, not last weekend. How about what was your first job? Obviously, this is our current job.
Sure.
But what was your very first job?
Standpipe Coffee House.
Standpipe Coffee House.
Literally, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And you were a barista.
I was a barista. I worked there from the time I was 14 to the time that I was almost 19.
Veteran.
Yeah. I did it for a long time.
Veteran in the making.
What about you?
My first job, where somebody signed my paycheck, was Sewell Infinity of North Houston. I worked at a car dealership.
Oh.
My first paycheck job. My first job was with my dad cutting grass. But
he paid you under the table.
Yeah. Just straight like weekend cash. Like, here's $100. Thanks for helping out.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't pay me because
you live there. It's rent.
Yeah, basically. But same time you started working. 14. Still currently help out my dad on the weekends. But my first paycheck job was Sewell Infinity North Houston. I love fancy dealerships because they come up with fancy names for everything. I was a porter, so grab car, get car, transfer car. That's what it was. But they called it a lot inventory specialist. Ooh,
fancy.
Now that job was really, really cool because I'm 18 at the time. I got my license. Well, I got my license at 16, but basically brand new driver.
Sure.
Right? JDM, that's what I was, right? At that job, they told me grab a car, send a car, pick up car, whatever, any kind of car, which is cool because at a luxury dealership, you have a variety of everything, whether it be Infinities, whether it be BMWs, Porsches, Mercedes, Mustangs, anything modified. And I was like, cool, go grab it, send it off. The best thing I've ever did was drive a Porsche to Porsche and then having to drive another Porsche back to the dealership.
Oh my God.
So I was like in it all day, every day, fancy cars, Snapchatting. I was like, oh my God, I love my life.
So why did you leave that job?
Houston living was expensive.
Oh, yeah.
When I first started, because I was part-time school, part-time work.
Sure.
And most of my money from work went to rent or food or fuel. Best part, I did go to Universal Technical Institute, so mechanic school, a technical school.
Sure.
So there was no buying books.
Oh, yeah.
There was no having to buy this, having to buy that. All I bought was a digital multimeter that measures voltage, resistance, and amperage. Little tool I still have to this day.
Yeah.
I bought a binder and various pens. And each class would give me packets of paper describing what that class was about and every information on that piece of paper. So I didn't buy no books.
I bought books, and then I dropped out of college.
And then, yeah. So that's what I did. That was my
first job
of what I did. So tech school, automotive dealership, working at very cool place. People that work at Sewell, fantastic. Now Sewell is Sewell, so Sewell, but it's pronounced Sewell.
Okay.
Very cool people. Nice people.
Well, enough about that. We're here to talk about Standpipe Coffee House and our experiences with Standpipe. I swear to God, if you keep that up with the ASMR, I'm gonna hit you with the microphone.
Okay.
Okay, so I got something called a Texas Lantana. It has like mango and orange and cream. I haven't tasted it yet. First taste. Oh, it kind of tastes like an Orange Julius.
What?
Do you not know what an Orange Julius is?
No, what is that?
Orange Julius, okay. If you're listening and you know what an Orange Julius is, tweet at us, Mr. in the morning.
Mr. in the morning.
Use the hashtag Mr. in the morning.
Mr. capital M, capital R.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Okay. Duolingo. No, not
I'll
Duolingo.
do my third taste
Orange
test. This tastes like a really good
Julius.
Standpipe. Like a step up from the Standpipe drink that's already offered on the menu.
Sorry, Julius. Guys, this is our second recording, and it's really like 3 o'clock, and we're doing our best. Okay, so an Orange Julius, it's like a juice place.
Uh-huh.
It's connected to Dairy Queen, I guess. What does
like
an orange juice have in it? Okay, Orange Julius is a blend of frozen orange juice, concentrate, milk, vanilla, sugar, and ice. This tastes better than an Orange Julius, in my opinion.
Yeah, I never heard of that. Not until now.
Yeah, definitely better than an Orange Julius. My dad would make those for me as a kid, and I hated them. But this is really tasty.
I got the honey bee.
Yes, iced
Honey bee. You can taste a lot of the coffee in it, which I really liked a lot. This is, like I said, like a step up from the Standpipe drink that's already on the menu at Standpipe.
Which the Standpipe is chocolate caramel and hazelnut with espresso and milk. You can get it hot, iced, or blended. I have not worked at Standpipe. Let's see, I left right before my 19th birthday. I'm 21 and a half, so it's been like 2.5 years.
I have never worked at Standpipe.
He's never worked at Standpipe. When did you start going to Standpipe?
Whenever Standpipe started live music.
Okay, that was pretty early on, but I don't remember the year.
Okay,
Standpipe opened in 2011 under the ownership of Mark Hicks. My dad, Ben Harbuck, was the manager. And at some point within the next, very early on into Standpipe's, existence, Dad bought it from Mr. Hicks, who is now the mayor of Lufkin.
Shout out.
Shout out to Mark Hicks. Always doing incredible stuff for the community. And yeah, when I was 14, which was in 2014, or I turned 14 at the end of 2013 and started in 2014 because I had looked up the laws in Texas and you could work at 14 if it was a family business. There were certain stipulations and rules I had to follow, so I couldn't work after a certain time or before a certain time.
Loopholes.
I couldn't work very long. I couldn't work very long shifts, and I couldn't work during school hours. So mostly, I worked a lot on the weekends until I was older and a little bit more legal to work, I guess. Right. It was all legal in the beginning.
Right, yeah. I didn't know that, though. I didn't know if it was a family business, you can start working early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
Fun fact.
So I, like I said, very much enjoyed my time there. It was my first job, and the people that I worked with I learned a lot from, and I had a lot of really great coworkers. So first doing live music, I mean, I want to say that was really early on.
I think it was like 20.
It was if it wasn't the year we
13?
opened, it was probably like 2012.
Yeah, 2012, 2013.
So you would have been like
Wait,
13.
No, hold on. Okay, I graduated 2016.
Okay.
So I was around 15 or so when I first started to go to Standpipe.
Okay, so that would have been like the year that I was working there then.
Yeah, so that was 20. I graduated. So yeah, it's like 2013 because I graduated at the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
And I went when I was like 14, 15 years old. So yeah, 2012, 2013.
Weird. So we've known each other for that long and we didn't even know it.
Right. And I went because I was starting to get into. Okay, that's when I first started to get an appreciation of live music, like in-house local music. Didn't know much people in Lufkin played instruments, other than band like in high school, whatever. But I played and sometimes still play the ukulele as correctly pronounced, but I played the ukulele, and I went up there and I wanted to perform, and then Ben was like, "Look, you need to have at least there's like 10 videos of you playing the instrument on YouTube and something else. Have like 2 or 3 original songs, whatever." And I was like, "Okay, cool," and I never did that, so my pursuit in music just collapsed because I was like, "Yeah, I just don't want to," because I didn't want to. But that's when I first started to go, and then I showed my mom Standpipe, and then that's what would be our go-to spots. Go to Standpipe, grab a cup of coffee, sit down, eat some cookies. Cookies are really good there. Drink the coffee, and that's when I realized that the books were there.
Right, the little free library.
Yeah, a little free library, and my sister or a couple. It was my sister or my cousins, whatever. And be like, "Oh crap, they got books," or they got like there was a games too, like cards. There was like chess, there was checkers, and so me and my friends would go and play and drink coffee at the same time. So that was like, all right, cool. This is a real cool, calm, and relaxed environment. And I was like, I feel like everybody is welcomed here, and that was so cool about Standpipe because it's cool, calm, and collected.
That was the whole thing, was that everybody was and is welcome there. As long as you're not like a jerk face.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about Standpipe, is that it's a very, how do you call it? Diverse environment.
And because of Standpipe, I took appreciation of other local coffee shops. So whenever I would leave town, I wouldn't want to go to like, let's say a Starbucks. I'll go to a Starbucks, but if I see a local near the place I'm at, I'm like, cool, let's try it, let's see what they got. And I'm like, okay, cool. And the thing is, my safe product or drink of choice is always a mocha. Go-to mochas. Right, at least some hazelnut, at least some chocolate in the drink. That's
a really good way to see if a place has good drinks, in my opinion. If their mocha is good,
the mocha is good, everything is good.
Yes.
And if they also have different types of like black coffee. So if they have like an Americano, cool. Colombian, cool. A Cuban, cool. Puerto Rican coffee, cool. If they have a variety, then you know they got good taste too. Yeah. If they stick to one, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can just stick to one coffee bean. I want a variety of coffee bean.
At Standpipe, what is your drink of choice? Like always, like your favorite drink? Because we got different drinks today than what we would normally get.
I normally get the Standpipe.
I also normally get the Standpipe. Do you get it hot, iced, or blended?
All 3.
Okay, so I do want to say something about this since I was a barista. Okay, it's so weird because like people wouldn't know what blended meant. So we would ask them, do you want it hot, iced, or blended? Blended as in a blender with ice.
So like smoothie texture.
Yes. Or like a smoothie texture, or like a frappuccino from Starbucks, or a frappe from McDonald's.
I didn't know that. I didn't know what frappes or I didn't know what frap. I was like, what?
But you knew what blended meant.
I knew what blended meant.
Then you were infinitely smarter than like half the people that came in.
Because blender, okay.
Yeah.
But there is no like frappuccino machine at Target that's like, yeah, you can make this into a frap, or is it blended? You know, so I was like, I don't know.
With some of the customer, I can say this freely because I haven't worked there. But seriously, it would confuse like the heck out of me because I'd ask, so what do you think blended means? And they'd be like, Oh, I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. I just, in my opinion, like, I assume that blended means with ice in a blender.
Right, yeah.
And they'd ask, well, what's the difference between iced and blended? And I'd be like, well, one is like
Ice cube.
ice cube in a cup, and the other one is it's crushed up because of the blender.
Yeah.
But some people would just, that reminds me of another story. It was one of my like really busy shifts. I think there was like a fair going on downtown.
Yeah.
And there was this kid. There's like a line out the door. And it was so busy.
That was so much back in the day.
It was always, yeah, before the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
And there was this guy. And I say kid. I'm not talking like about like a little kid. He was probably like middle school, high school, right? Somewhere in there. And he asked me, what does the strawberry Italian soda taste like? And I look at him and I look at the line that's out the door.
Uh-huh.
And I went, like a strawberry soda? And he's like, yeah, but what does that taste like?
Bro, you ever had a Fanta before?
And so I literally said, like a strawberry Fanta? I'm sorry, can I, like, help you? Like, we have a line.
Right, right.
And I probably could have been a little bit nicer about it. I don't even remember when this was, but I was so busy and so flustered because it was just two of us working. And you're wasting my time by asking what a strawberry soda tastes like?
Yeah.
I don't know what else to tell you.
Like, sir?
It tastes like artificial strawberry flavor.
Yeah.
And club soda.
Yeah.
And if you add the cream, it makes it like a strawberry cream soda. Like, how do you describe a cream soda?
I have that argument sometimes. Like, what does that taste like? I'm like, oh, all right, hold on, give me a second. And I have to think about the ingredient.
You have to think about it, yeah.
And I'll get the standpipe, and they're like, oh, what does that taste like? And I'm like,
well,
right,
the standpipe is easy for me to describe.
Yeah, I just hate describing drinks.
It's chocolate caramel and hazelnut with coffee. It's like Snickers with coffee. It's very good. What's your... I would always... Let me tell you about the standpipe. When I was in college, I was 16, and I would get a large blended standpipe with whipped cream and 2 kolaches from the Donut Palace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I would have that for breakfast every morning. I went Tuesdays and Thursdays to college. So it's very, like, when I want to, like, feel like I'm in college again.
Right. You want to reminisce.
I want to reminisce about my college days.
What year did you go to college?
I went to college. I went 2 semesters. From, I think it was, like, the spring semester of 2016 and the fall semester of 2016. I only went for 2.
I want to be like 2016 again.
Yeah, right?
Flip, driving car, hair blowing through, the wind blowing through your hair.
I was so cool when I was 16. I'm cool now, but like, the confidence that you have as a teenager is absolutely unmatched.
Just like up here.
Yeah, it really is.
And then it goes down here.
And then when you like become an adult, you're like, oh man.
You're like, I was like that. That was me?
Yeah.
There's no way that was me.
Well, it's so strange to think about the fact that we've probably known each other for longer than we think we do because you would come to Standpipe.
Yeah.
And Standpipe has changed dramatically in the 10 years that it's been open.
Except the wall, the Coca-Cola wall.
The Coca-Cola wall, yes.
Except that wall.
So, do you want me to tell you about that?
Yeah, I never knew the story behind that.
Okay, so I was obviously, I was like 10, 11 when the renovations were taking place of that building.
Mm-hmm.
And accidentally, the workers, I guess, like, struck the sheetrock that was there, and it like made a hole, and they went to go repair it, but they saw that something was behind it. So they tore all of like the sheetrock down and discovered this mural from like the early 1900s. No, that's not right. Yeah, isn't it?
Way back then.
It was easily like 100 years old or older in 2010. And it had been completely forgotten about because it was like that used to be like the edge of a building. And then they added on to like that set of buildings and they just covered it up.
So the Coca-Cola wall was the end of a building?
Yes, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then they added on, and then the mural was lost to time, and then we found it again. And so now it's like super iconic. It's very pretty.
Mm-hmm. That's like, if you walk in through the side door where the other mural is at, you walk in through a mural to another mural, it's like, bam, Coca-Cola. And that's pretty cool.
Downtown Lufkin is really beautiful.
What tripped me out was the pictures that some photographer he fixed them up. He added color to the black and white images of Lufkin downtown Lufkin.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind that, okay, people did used to live here 100 years ago, but when you see footage and pictures
Are you okay?
being brought back to life, I'm just like, dude, there's no way Lufkin used to look like this.
Right.
This was 100 years ago, and this used to be trees and just buildings, and that was it, and just dirt roads. Now it's all paved out, many more buildings. And I was like, there's no way people used to live here.
Standpipe Coffee House is actually named after the Standpipe Water Tower, which is no longer standing, but it was in Cotton Square, which is downtown.
I knew that, but
okay. Well,
your dad told me.
What else can we say about Standpipe that'll make people want to go? I mean, the atmosphere is great.
It's a good place for pictures.
Definitely. My parents no longer own Standpipe, but my uncle Andrew does. Shout out to Andrew Harbuck. Good place for pictures. Good place for it. I mean, it's all like it. Not to knock other like chain coffee places who will go unnamed, but like Standpipe's coffee and even their other drinks like their teas, and things like that they just taste phenomenal. The beans are locally sourced. Well, our distributor is local, Coffee City USA. If they still get the beans from there, but
right.
All of the pastries are made in-house. They're fresh every day. They have lunch now.
I'll tell you this, it's like my grandma never made cookies, but they taste like a grandma's cookie. That's what they taste like.
Yeah, everything just tastes very I don't want to say organic, but like it's gonna sound weird.
Tastes like home.
It tastes like home. It tastes genuine. I know that's gonna sound very strange,
but I like it because one, it's in downtown.
Right.
You can grab a coffee and walk. Compared to other places, you grab a coffee and drive.
Right.
That's number one. Number two is that there's good seating area. There's one under like a shed.
It's
style.
like the patio is covered.
Yeah,
the front patio.
And then you have a backside, like in a little tiny alley.
Yeah.
With a amazing painting, of
Another
different
mural.
colors, and again a good seating area. The sun will only hit for about 2 hours.
In the middle of the day,
in the
from
middle
like I don't know, like 11:30 in the morning to like 1:30 p.m.
Yeah, because in that little alleyway, the buildings block the sun.
Yeah,
so you
it's
don't get a
great.
lot of sun.
It's really like the perfect place. So that's where I met a lot of friends there. One of my longtime friends, Morgan, I met her there. It's a good place to meet people because when you become a regular somewhere, I think Standpipe is really this sort of place where even if you're not like becoming friends with the baristas, I have seen so many friendships blossom because, you know, it's not an isolating place, and the vibe that it gives off is just like, my last year there, a few people came in, and I would sit with those kinds of people, right? If they looked interesting, and I'd be like, let me get you a drink on the house. Let me get you a pastry on the house. And I would just talk because it would bring in so many interesting characters.
You get lost in time.
For sure.
I was there meeting with a friend about, she wanted to start this new project. Okay, cool. We were talking about it. We were talking about the project for like 30 minutes.
Right.
In the other 3.5 hours, we're talking about life.
Yeah.
And what she has gone through, what I have gone through. And I look at the time and I told her, yo, we've been in here for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And we didn't even realize. And she's like, I gotta go back home. She's like, I gotta go talk with my daughter and this and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I think my mom called me like 3 times. I was like, yo, I gotta go too. Like, this is just crazy because you sit down, and even with my mom, like with my mom, we'll have a cup of coffee at home. But then we're just like, no, just go to Standpipe. Like, let's go drink some other kind of coffee. And we'll get lost in time too. We'll sit outside or sit inside. 2 or 3 hours pass by and we're like, yo.
Dad and I used to do that. We'd sit out on the front porch after I would close. And we would just like talk. It's really just that kind of place where time like really doesn't seem to exist. Yeah,
and you're like, you don't want to leave. I never want to leave.
Right.
But then I was like, no, this is a business. You got to leave sometime. But fantastic place. I
have so many good memories there.
To go to. And it's even perfect because where we are at, currently recording this,
and
Standpipe it's a good, not even 2 minute drive, or you can make a 5 minute walk.
Yeah,
It's
pretty much.
It's right there.
It's
right
seriously, if you haven't been to Standpipe, I would really highly recommend it. Good people, good coffee, good pastries.
there. Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't have that much more to say about it, except that, I mean, you should, trying new coffee shops and getting to know the people there, whether it be the baristas or the regulars, it's a very special experience. I'll share a personal story before we wrap it up, but there was a regular who had been coming in since Standpipe had opened. His name was David.
Mm-hmm.
I called him Mr. David, and he was like another grandfather to me. He passed away in 2017, but he was like the highlight of our day, you know, and it really seemed like we were the highlight of his in a lot of cases. But he was just an older gentleman who was very kind. He was kind of sarcastic sometimes.
I love that.
Kind of like
That's
a
cool.
smart aleck.
Yeah.
But he always like was just so nice to all of us baristas, and I really hope that the baristas who work there now have a Mr. David. You build a lot of really great bonds with people by going somewhere regularly and getting to know their name and eventually get to know little bits and pieces about them. I think that's what makes Standpipe so special, is that, like we were saying at the beginning, you really do feel at home no matter who you are.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about that. No doubt.
If you have been to Standpipe and have a story you want to share, tweet at us. Make a post on Instagram. You can tweet at us at Mr. in the Morning. That's MR in the Morning. On Instagram, we are Meg and Ro in the Morning. Hashtag your post so that way we can see it. Mr. in the Morning. Again, MR in the Morning. Tell us about your favorite drink at Standpipe. Tell us about how you met your husband, your wife, your long-term partner, your best friend, steady buddy. Just tell us your favorite memory about Standpipe. And if you haven't gone yet, well, then this is your sign to go. Tell them that Meg and Ro sent you.
Oh yeah, and get something different.
Something different every time until you find your favorite.
Oh yeah. Don't stick with your go-to. Switch it up a little bit.
Switch it up.
I kind of like this honeybee. I kind of might get it again.
Pretty tasty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll leave you with this. Small coffee or large coffee?
I guess it depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Like literally